Welcome back, everybody. Today I get to do a video that I'm actually kind of excited about. Usually this channel is a lot of retro stuff, but lately I've really been enjoying the standard format, and I did not think I was ever gonna, say that, but the game is at a really, really, really good point, and it's been great to come back and play the game and do a little bit of the circuit. Like, I just don't think I'm at a point in my life where I'm ever gonna be traveling to 8 regionals a year and like 3 or 4 NII, international events or anything like that. But to come back and play in some challenges and cups and things like that is, gosh, this is the first time I've been excited about it in a long time. And the game, I feel like, is at such a good point right now, for a couple of different reasons, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, this is the Gardevoir list that I used to win a league challenge. I went 4-0 with it a little over a week ago. Now, I I know winning a league challenge is not a huge accomplishment in the game, but at the same time, too, it was really nice to come back, play Gardevoir, which is probably my favorite Pokemon or one of my favorite Pokemon, and then find a little bit of success coming back into a game I haven't played seriously in probably like 10 years. So it was just awesome to just honestly just kind of be in that environment again, to like basically have, your busy hectic real life, and then to be able to step outside of that for a couple hours and just play cards with good people was just a lot of fun. The other thing is, and I will fully admit, I net decked the list. It's essentially Brent's list from the World Championships that he ended up 10th with. Basically, I think I dropped a worker for a pal pad, and then I dropped one psychic for a reversal energy. The pal pad just seemed really good, being able to reuse bosses and things like that. And I found throughout the day that I did a lot of the time it would be pal pad throwing two bosses back in and then digging for a boss to win the game. I totally understand just playing the second worker though, because especially in decks that are very path to the peak heavy, being able to find that answer instantly and having that extra out for it, I can see where that's so strong. And then at the same time too, not having to find the worker, use worker, pal pad it back in, and then find the worker again. I can see where it's stronger to play a second worker in that type of format. As far as the reversal energy, I think I understand the logic for it, where not playing it, psychic energy is like just the big energy in the deck. But at the same time, it's nice to be able to have that out to do that 330 with cards like Mew EX, or to have a much easier time knocking out things like Arceus, V-Star, and things like that as well. As far as the deck, just a couple of things that I kind of noted about the list was a lot that I tested online, and man, live is horrible for testing Gardevoir. There's so many bugs with it, and it takes forever to use Psychic Embrace. But that part of it aside, the single Zacian was just really, really, really hard for me, because I always felt like there was a lot of situations where I needed it, and if I didn't prize the one copy, which didn't happen too often, but using it, having it get knocked out, then having to find a super rod, and then having to find it again was really annoying. Just having that second Zacian was very nice. The Rolts counts never really mattered to me. I never fully understood this Rolts. I'm assuming, since Rolts you never really attack with it, there might be off situations like against opposing Gardevoir decks where being able to knock something out with Psyshot is a strong play. But it seems like almost a lot of the other formats where if your game plan is to attack with Rolts, you're probably not in a great spot regardless. I didn't get a chance to test the other Kirlia. I don't think a lot of players did until they saw Tord do so well with it, but I'll definitely be trying like a 3-1 split with it. Yeah, everything else in the deck just played awesome. The 2 Ultra Ball and the 2 Rare Candy made me a little bit nervous, but I felt a little bit better with the 2 Forest Seal Stones, just knowing that I wasn't worried about only playing 2 candies or only playing 2 Ultra Balls. It was being able to find them early when I needed them to get that early setup. And I felt a little bit better about it having that Forest Seal Stone, um, knowing that I could use that to search out the Ultra Ball, the Rare Candy, whatever I needed in that situation. As far as the stadiums go, playing 2 Collapsed was nice. It came in to the game, once, and I felt a lot better against Lost Zone, knowing that I had that option. I don't really want to there wasn't a super exciting tournament report. Essentially, it was 4 rounds. First round was against Lost Zone, Garatina. I got a good start. They got a good start, but I was just able to get a better prize trade off. They weren't able to really get a Garatina down on and going super early, so I was able to use Boss and the Shining Arcana Gardevoir to basically come out ahead in that game, just win the prize trade, and things like Iona was very hard for them to overcome. Second round was against a Charizard VMAX deck. There's a couple of scary first turns where I missed an energy, but once again, just using the Shiny Arcana Gardevoir to make positive prize trades is what won me the game. I know at the very end, I think if he had one more turn, he would have had it, but I was able to Palpad double bosses back in and then find one under a path. So it worked out. Like I said, I got pretty fortunate with that. The deck was maybe, I'd assume, less than 20 cards, and I think I was able to draw 5 or 6. So to be able to find one of the boss's orders was nice, or to be able to find a stadium or something. I can't remember the exact situation. I just remember drawing a boss relatively quickly and being able to find it. Third round was against Arceus Garatina. He got the turn to Arceus, and then he had to make the choice where he either got the attack off or he got a Juniper. And I don't remember the exact situation, but he opted to optimize his odds, and he got the attack off, but it left him with almost no hand, and he was hoping to be able to draw out of it. And then throughout the course of the game, he kept drawing well enough to stay in it, but he never really got the large hand and all those options back. I know there was a key point in the game where he had a Zacian B for, I think, 180, and then I was able to retreat it, collapse it, and then come back and super out it back into the deck. And it saved me 2 prizes. It was kind of a back and forth game. There was a couple of scary turns with Path to the Peak where I always felt like I was winning, but there was definitely a okay, if he can lock a path, I could be in a really bad spot very quickly on it. And the last round was against a Arceus Garatina deck, and his opening hand was literally nothing, and he attacked the Garatina multiple turns in a row, just looking at the top 4 and choosing 2. So as I basically got the full Gardevoir set up. The thing that I really liked is the deck felt super good, super consistent. I always felt like I had a ton of options, and it was just fun to play. I think this is maybe just an old guy coming back in and kind of noting the differences in the game, but I remember, I think the last tournament I played in, I did a couple of pre-releases a few weeks ago, but the last major tournament I played in was regionals in 2018, and then I think I did one in 2017. But just in all the games since they started doing the best 2 out of 3, and I think that was 2014, I think in all of those, and I don't know, maybe the 20 or 30 games, tournament games I played in that time frame, I think I had 1 or 2 go to time. So it was it was very rare to go to time, and I always kind of struggled I never fully understood how so many players went to time unless they were purposely manipulating the clock to go to time. But every single round in this league challenge, I went to time. And that was just something that I kind of noted. And it wasn't that, like, I didn't feel like I was playing slow or my opponents were playing slow, but it really felt like the turns were just so long and I had so many actions that I had to do per turn. And I definitely thought through my moves, especially since I was still like kind of learning everything, but I definitely just have every single game go to time, but I always felt like it finished comfortably. Like 4 turns is a lot of time when there's a lot of two prize swings, especially later in the game where those prizes are kind of flying a little bit more. So every game finished, but all of them went to time, if that makes sense. Like every game finished by, I took 6 prizes in every one of the games, but every single one, I believe, except for that last round, went to time or came close to it. Maybe that first round too, but that was just something for me to note where I can really understand. And like trying to play 3 games with Gardevoir in 60 minutes just seems astronomically hard, especially if I'm in a situation where my opponent like won game 1 and they really don't want game 2 to finish. Like I understand like how difficult how difficult the 50-minute time frame is and how much it frustrates players now. I think a couple of things that I really, really liked about the format, and once again, this might just be me being old, but I really enjoyed how there was this kind of like mix between like speed decks and then slower setup decks, and how cards like rare candies and stage 2s were really viable. Like this was always my complaint. Like people always acted like, and I'm sure I came across as that I always hated like standard Pokemon. Oh my gosh, all this retro stuff's better, but it was just I never liked how like a key component in the game Pokemon just gutted. Like how they literally just gutted stage 2 decks. And like there was literally no incentive when you can slap together a Darkrai EX and a Mewtwo EX and you're playing like 12 Pokemon that do more damage than trying to play 20 Pokemon and 4 rare candies. Like there was no point in playing a slower, weaker deck that took up more cards in your Pokemon slots instead of your item slots versus just playing a lot of fast, basic Pokemon. And I always hated how that went. And now there seems to be this really, really good balance between, like, you know, decks like Lost Box that are very quick and very aggressive, but then against decks like, you know, Gardevoir, which are much slower and they take longer to set up, but the power level and the power spike is much higher. And then cards like Iona, which I think is huge in trying to even that out. And then you have, like, you know, decks like Mew VMAX and Lost Box, and there's so many different viable decks that feel vastly different to play, and they mesh together differently, where I feel like you really have to know how to play different matchups and things to be super effective. The other thing, and I think this is one of the things that I enjoyed the most, is deck building seems to be like a big component in the game again. And this was always kind of like my big complaint, was I felt like lists and decks just became so standard that it was kind of it didn't feel like deck building was a part of the game anymore, and it just didn't matter. And then now it feels like it really, really does matter. If you're playing Lost Zone Giratina, like there's massive difference between playing 2-path and 3-path, and then playing like, you know, do you play Roxanne? Do you not play Roxanne? And those like little key card choices, excuse me, feel like they really, really, really matter. And that's fun and exciting to see. And it doesn't necessarily feels like there's always a right and wrong answer. A lot of it comes down to matchups and things like that. And it's really, really cool to see that put back into the game. So to kind of, I guess, wrap up, I probably am not gonna, you know, chase a Worlds invite. I'm probably not gonna go to 8 regionals or anything like that. But I am actually looking forward to playing a little bit of Standard this year and seeing cards like Iona and Pidgeot EX come back, and just having a little bit of fun at challenges and cups and things like that. And I'm just excited where the game's going. This is like the first time in a long time I felt like the game didn't feel perfect, but I enjoyed the direction of it. And it was really fun to kind of play the game and feel like I could definitely tell I wasn't playing perfect and spots, and I could definitely like just playing on live. I can definitely like understand that I don't have the understanding and strength to be a great deck builder at this moment, and then to really feel like, I don't know how to say it. I like the fact it feels nice to be like, to feel like those are key elements in the game that you really have to work for and try for, and then that effort level you put in does pay off. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll probably try to do some more standard stuff in the future. Like I said, I'm really loving the format right now. So I'll catch you in the next video.